Hello, athletes. Welcome and thank you for tuning into the Coach Katie Danger podcast, recorded live from Omaha, Nebraska. I'm your host, Coach Katie Danger, U.S. Army veteran, fitness coach, and founder of Red H Nutrition. Here's a fact for you. 99% of us are not elite athletes. We're individuals from all backgrounds, juggling life's priorities, including jobs, our families, their needs, and trying to find time to take care of ourselves. Every single week when you tune in, I'll be discussing clear, concise, and actionable strategies you can use to get the most from your fitness, nutrition, and mindset so you can optimize your life without compromising your time. So athletes, settle in and get comfortable. I'm here to educate, inspire, empower, and entertain you to help you enjoy the unique fitness journey that you are on. Hey again, athletes. Welcome to episode number 51. I'm Coach Katie Danger, and this week I'm going to be sharing some funny and perhaps scary stories of what happens when you take Ambien. But first, like always, I want to get into a segue and tell you a little bit about what I've been doing with my gut biome and where I'm headed. And you guys know that I love trying new things, right? If you've listened for a couple episodes, you know I like trying all kinds of stuff. So my next venture is I'm going to get my stool, my poop, tested for pathogens and healthy microorganisms. Specifically, I'm getting a GI mapping test done on my stool. So it's $250. It's done through diagnosticsolutionsLab.com. And they're looking for the ratio of good bacteria versus bad bacteria. Specifically, they're testing for pathogens, bacteria, and then any opportunistic growth ratios that may be occurring. So like, are there problems upcoming? How many colony forming units do we have, good versus bad? And, I don't know how much time you guys spend on Facebook, but I do spend a lot of time on social. It helps me connect with a lot of people, but I've been on Facebook a lot lately, and I've seen so many ads in my feed, and they're talking about gut biome. And specifically, they're talking about how the average adult could have up to 20 pounds of rotten sludge, undigested foods, and just crap in their gut. And I believe this is true. I do. I believe that it's sensationalized, though, for these ads. I don't think that most people, especially people listening to this, have 20 pounds of rot in their gut. But if you're morbidly obese and your BMI is like 40, 45 plus, this might be a closer statistic for you, but I do believe that you and I, anybody listening to this right now, we do have some rot sitting around our gut, and essentially is not optimal for our GI function. It's not optimal for digestion. It's not optimal for vitamin and mineral absorption. It's just not optimal to have that stuff sitting around in your gut. We can have all kinds of issues with this. Some you might not even know, right? All these GI issues from this rotten stuff sitting in our gut ranges from severe to mild in terms of symptoms. And now I got interested in this because it's personal to me. So Sammy, my better half, she's been struggling with some GI issues for a while. She's been to a few practitioners, ranging from herbalists, then to your traditional Western medicine docs, and we haven't gotten any answers. She's had ultrasounds, x-rays, MRIs, and still nothing. Nothing was found to indicate why her guts feel so inflamed and there's so much pain. She's cut out foods. She's gone on elimination diets. We've done juice fasts. In fact, she's gone 5 days without eating before, where I've only gone 3, and still no relief. None. So it was whether she ate or whether she wasn't eating, she still struggles with this pain in her gut. And she reached out to a functional medicine doctor. She finally was like, okay, my herbalist, I'm getting, some herbs and things that are helping homeostasis, but I'm not getting a solution to this GI problem. So functional medicine doctor was where she was recommended to next. And the first step is getting a full GI mapping. And that is really just a fancy term for she's going to get her poop tested for microorganisms, bacteria, and pathogens. Now, it's about a 10-day turnaround for the results, and she's still been waiting for hers. We don't have them back yet. We anticipate early next week she should have them. It's 10 business days. So the at-home test kit, it was really easy to understand. I was actually really, really impressed with the process. Now, I didn't watch her do the collection process, but I did look at the kit. I looked at how they collect the stool sample and how it's sent back, and you drop it off to FedEx, and then FedEx handles your stool until it gets to their lab. And I'm going to get mine done. I'm going to do it. So I'm waiting until I get my physician referral, because as it turns out, you can't just log on online and any Joe Schmo buy one. You do have to get it referred from a licensed medical practitioner who does have a state certification and license. But once you get it ordered, the cool part is you have complete control over the entire process. So you take the stool sample, you send it back, and then they give you the results. And ultimately, you can work with your doctor again to interpret the results. But they have this, I looked through this guide already. It's a GI mapping guide, and it makes it really easy to interpret the results. So you don't have to go back to the doctor and spend that extra cash to get the results. It's really cool. And I'm definitely looking forward to doing this. And then, of course, I will always share the results with you and exactly what I find. But for today, I want to ask you something. I want to ask you a really important question. It's a question I asked myself years ago before I found a solution. But for you, when is the last time that you slept really, really well? And I'm talking about like slept so deep that you fell asleep. You didn't even know you were asleep. You didn't move at all. You woke up and you're like, oh my gosh, that was 8 hours. It went by so fast. Where did the time go? And you slept well. You didn't toss and turn. And you woke up with that zest and vitality and vigor that you need to conquer and crush the goals for the day. When was the last time that happened to you? For me, it happens almost every single night. And it wasn't always that way, though. It wasn't always that way. I'm going to get to some stories about what my life was like when I was using prescription drugs to get to sleep, and then what it's like now and how you can get it too. I used to have a really terrible relationship with sleep. Like, I didn't even want to go to bed because I knew it was going to be an ordeal, and falling asleep was hard, staying asleep was hard. And when you toss and turn all night and you know that that's going to happen, it kind of becomes an even worse cycle, right? You know you're not going to sleep well, and then you struggle to sleep well, and you'll do whatever it takes. And, that relationship, just a very bad relationship with sleep, to say the least. First, I started blaming it on my mattress. I thought I would get a new mattress. Well, nothing improved. Still was sleeping like crap. I tried things like warm milk, sleepy time teas. Nothing like that worked. So I finally decided to go to my doctor. And naturally, as most Western medicine doctors do, they prescribe you a pill. And I was prescribed Ambien. And I started out on a really low dose. I believe it was 5 milligrams. And I fell asleep. I fell asleep. I was out. I was zonked out. But I really wasn't getting the kind of sleep that I really wanted, because I'd sleep, but I'd wake up and I had like this hangover feeling, a very heavy feeling on my head and my body, kind of a zombie, kind of like a zombie. And I ended up taking Ambien for almost 3 years, but I had enough of it. And I had enough of it because I had some really interesting stories and experiences to share about Ambien. But ultimately, I just really didn't want Ambien to control my sleep. When I knew, after I share some of these stories with you, you realize kind of the dangers of using Ambien, but it is not a long-term solution to sleep, and it's not a long-term solution to wellness. You need to sleep naturally, and you need to sleep without prescription medication if you really want to be the best that you can be, and you want to live a long, enjoyable life. Ambien is an interesting drug, and a lot of people are prescribed it every year because they think it's going to help them get some sleep. And, it does. If you're on Ambien right now, you take Ambien or another sleep aid, NyQuil, Lunesta, maybe even use your Xanax to get to sleep, you get knocked out, but you're not getting that deep, restorative REM, rapid eye movement sleep that you need to regulate your brainwaves, to regulate your hormone system, to regulate your central nervous system, and to wake up, like I mentioned, with that zest where you can conquer anything through the day. I was looking for some updated statistics on Ambien usage, and I found that in 2017, 47 million Americans were prescribed Ambien. Now, Ambien works on the central nervous system, specifically with the GABA receptors in the brain, to induce decreased sleep onset time and help people stay asleep longer. So all that is saying that Ambien helps people fall asleep faster and then stay asleep longer. So there's less tossing and turning, and you get zonked out quicker, right? Which is all great. But there's also quite a few side effects, ranging from mild headaches, memory loss, hallucinations, and even sleepwalking. Now, the biggest problem with Ambien is that it is an addictive substance, and that users tend to need to increase the dosage every so often in order to get the same sort of high or the same sort of effect. Now, Ambien was never meant, if you Google Ambien, it is never meant to be a long-term solution. But then you look at the stats, and most people are on it for a long time, years or more, including myself. And the problem is we're not working on our sleep hygiene. We're not working on what's really going on. What is the root cause of our sleeplessness? What's the root cause of our receptors in our brain not working correctly and not allowing us to sleep? Another catch with Ambien is that there are real withdrawals that occur. So if you try to quit, it's going to be hard to quit. You're going to want to go back, and it's going to almost be even harder to sleep. Getting Ambien sleep and at least getting some rest, and even though you wake up like a zombie, not getting any sleep at all and just being awake all night and wired, that's even worse. So that's why there's this withdrawal. It's God, I'll take crappy Ambien sleep over no sleep any day. So instead of working on sleep hygiene, they're just medicating themselves. And I can personally attest to this. I went cold turkey off of Ambien after I was sick and tired of ordering random stuff off of Amazon and then having no memory about it. But I'll get to that a little bit later. I'm sure right now somebody is listening to this and they're using Ambien to sleep. Maybe you woke up this morning and you have still a little bit of a fog going on because you took Ambien, Lunesta, Xanax, some other sleep aid. And I understand. I feel you. I was there. And I want this podcast to give you some hope that there are some natural solutions and you can wean yourself off of Ambien just like I did, and then successfully retake your sleep hygiene and your sleep cycle and have pretty damn good sleep every single night. Before I share those natural solutions with you, though, I do want to lighten up the mood a little bit, and I want to share some stories with you about Ambien. A couple are my own, and then one is from my friend. So I started to realize I had a problem because some really interesting things started happening. And I didn't even know these things were happening until Amazon packages would start to show up at my door. And I didn't remember ordering this stuff. And for example, one time I ordered an entire mattress set. So apparently, I ordered an entire mattress set with the bed frame, the mattress, the sheets. You guys, I lived in a small studio apartment. Like, I couldn't even get this bed in my apartment. First, I would have to get my full size. This was when I was single. I had a full size bed, and I ordered a queen mattress set. It didn't even fit in my small studio apartment. So when it showed up to my door, I told the delivery guy, the FedEx guy, I'm like, I didn't order this. I don't know what you're doing. So he shows me the shipping manifest and all this stuff. And yep, I ordered it. I ended up looking on my Amazon order list, and yep, I had ordered it. So I couldn't just tell him to take it back. I had to actually go through the return process. So I had to find a place to put this stuff. And then I had to have a friend who had a truck come and help me take it back to FedEx for a return. It was so obnoxious and annoying. And then one of the weirdest hallucinations that I had, I remember it so specifically. I was like waking sleep. I was in Amazon. I was a pirate with a machete in my hand in the Amazon jungle. So I specifically remember I was laying in bed and I'm like, wow. Like, there's so much brush. There's so many trees and plants around here. And I had a machete in my hand and I was a pirate. I mean, I don't know what made me a pirate. I just felt like I was a pirate. I didn't have a hat on or anything like that. But I was a pirate. I was going through and I was slashing my way through the Amazon jungle. God knows where I was going. I don't know. And then probably the most serious of all of them is one time when I woke up and my car was missing. And I actually had moved it, sleep driving, to my neighbor's driveway. So I found my car in my neighbor's driveway. And really the only deduction that we could make, I mean, this was before Ring and all those, like, there was no video of this. I have no video of it. Otherwise, I would definitely have shown it by now. But I had moved my car to my neighbor's driveway. I mean, I don't know. Like, how dangerous is that? I laugh at it in hindsight, but my God, like, I started realizing that Ambien is not the solution here. And Ambien is very, very addictive. So I just, like, at the end of the day, I just wanted to sleep. I didn't want to spend any more money. I didn't want to drain my bank account anymore. And I certainly didn't want my car to go ending up in somebody else's driveway or parking lot. I mean, who even knows? There's plenty of stories out there if you Google people on Ambien stories that are way, way worse than what I experienced, but not good, right? Something's got to change. Hey, I know and you know that I talk a lot about using supplements on your fitness journey and reaching your full potential. How I believe they're integral pieces of the puzzle to reaching your best self and best fitness results. But do you know how supplements fit into your plan? Do you know what to take for your goals and how much of a supplement you should take? If you've ever had any of those questions and you want to know how supplements can work for you and your goals, go to yourfitnesssupplements.com and take the free 3-point personalized supplement assessment. And with just a few questions, you'll have a complete personalized supplement recommendation in less than 60 seconds. You'll know more about how supplements fit into your fitness goals, what's safe, and what's effective and perfect for you. So type in yourfitnesssupplements.com in your internet browser, take the free assessment, and get on the fast track to your best fitness results. Well, I actually was sharing this story with my friend, and I found out that she has a few doozies of her own. So I'm going to share this with you. Here's hers. I think it's way funnier than any of mine, but a little bit more frightening as well. So my friend was still living in Omaha, and she woke up in a Walmart one night. So she came to, right? Woke up, came out of whatever this Ambien hallucination or dream she was in. It was 2 a.m. and she was in her pajamas. She had one slipper on and she had a fancy hat on. And now she did send me this picture of this fancy hat that she had. And here's what it looks like. So it's a hat with netting and it goes over your face. Maybe something you'd see. Here's what I see. I see Jackie Kennedy, Jacqueline Onassis. I see her at a funeral, or JFK's funeral, with this fancy type hat on. So that's what she was wearing. And she's in Walmart, and in her hands, not even in a cart, in her hands, she's got diapers, baby food, some raw fish, and cat litter. And she said she had some other random stuff that she wouldn't know. And she said it was in her arms. She didn't have a basket. She didn't have a cart. She has all in her arms. This is how she wakes up, right? Or comes to. And she said another weird thing is she hates Walmart, and she's been boycotting Walmart since 2000. So it was really weird that she decided to go to Walmart. So anyway, she comes to, she sets all the stuff down because she's not going to buy any of it. And she leaves in her pajamas, her one slipper, and her hat. And she finds her car in the parking lot, parked up on the median. The driver's side door is open and the key's still in the ignition. So she ends up going home. She makes a doctor appointment the next day, and she tells the doctor what happened. And he flat out says to her, looks her in the face like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. She never took Ambien again after that. And she also found a new doctor, which was probably, it's a crazy story, sure. But like, why would anybody make that up? And absolutely possible when you do on Ambien. If you've ever taken Ambien and have a silly story like that, you know that all this is definitely possible. And apparently she's not alone when it comes to spending money on stupid stuff. She also shared this one. So she bought a whole workout system, bench, dumbbells, bands, the whole thing. She said she spent almost $3,000 on it. And she put it on a credit card that she kept in her safe, like a credit card she didn't even keep with her. She put it on a whole different credit card. And then she couldn't even fit it in her house because her house was only like 800 square foot. So she had nowhere to put this stuff anyways, but she spent thousands of dollars on gym equipment that she doesn't even really know why she bought it. And then it had to be picked up for a return because she certainly wasn't going to keep it. So, I mean, like, it's not just me, right? There's other people out there having silly experiences on Ambien that are very real. But when you do these things, it's like, my God, like, why would you? She drove her car to Walmart, a place she doesn't even like to go anyways, bought stuff she has no use for, one slipper on, pajamas, and a fancy hat. And then her car door is open, or the keys are in the ignition. Like, that stuff is crazy. So I'm actually curious if anybody else out there has any experiences on Ambien. And if you do, I would love to hear them. I'll even share them on an upcoming episode if you're okay with it. So email me, Ambien stories, Katie@CoachKatieDanger.com. I'd love to hear them. You know, these stories, they're funny in hindsight, and mainly because nobody got hurt and the consequences were fairly mild. Besides a few low bank accounts, maybe a few overdrafts here and there, like nothing really happened, right? Our cars are okay, we're okay. But after I quit Ambien cold turkey, I wanted to take my sleep back, and I had to find alternative solutions, especially because I knew that withdrawal was going to be a real thing, and I had to find something that would help me with my sleep struggles. I started looking into supplements, and I especially looked into GABA because, like we talked about earlier, Ambien works with GABA receptors in the brain. So what is GABA? Well, GABA, it's GABA, or gamma aminobutyric acid, and it is a primary inhibitory neurotransmitter, and it counterbalances the neurotransmitter glutamate that excites the nervous system. So you've got GABA and glutamate, and they go back and forth. They kind of do this dance, balancing each other out. One excites, one inhibits, and they just go back and forth. Well, Ambien binds to the GABA receptors in the brain. If you're low on GABA, Ambien works just like GABA does, and it binds to those receptors, so it helps you fall asleep. GABA is a naturally occurring chemical compound produced in the brain, and there's a 2006 study that I really liked, and here's what it said. It said that after 60 minutes of administration of GABA, supplementation-wise, it significantly increases alpha waves and decreases beta waves. And what these findings help show us is that if our nervous system is very keyed up, Ambien can help, but it doesn't address the root cause of the problem. GABA not only induces relaxation, but also reduces anxiety. And a lot of times that underlying anxiety and stress that we deal with from day to day, where our levels go from here, 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 and just gradually increase through the days, weeks, months, and years that we're under stress, our GABA receptors get tested. And they get tested pretty significantly, which is a lot of times why we end up falling into an Ambien prescription because our GABA levels are so low. So the problem with Ambien is that it works to increase GABA's effects by helping it better bind to your brain's receptors, but it doesn't actually contain any of the neurotransmitter itself. So that's why withdrawal is a real thing. When you stop using it, your body's used to receiving it and it doesn't know what to do when it can't find it. Now, GABA is not available from many food sources. The only places you're going to find it is in fermented foods, kimchi, miso soups. So supplementation is really popular among those who are looking for natural reliefs to their insomnia and their struggles with sleep and generalized anxiety issues. There's another study I want to quote here, and it's from 2018, so it's pretty recent. And it's with 40 participants. So it's a randomized, placebo-controlled, double-blind study. So people did not know if they were using GABA or not. So that's why I really like, even though it's a small sample size, 40, I like the fact that it was a double-blind, randomized, and placebo-controlled, because that makes it, it takes away that placebo effect. It takes away, if people know they're getting something, can they manifest that reality? But here's what it found. It found that those who supplemented with 300 milligrams of GABA, they fell asleep faster, and the sleep quality had improved compared to those in the control group who did not supplement. So that's just from 2-3 years ago now, and we're finding studies of actual supplementation usage of 300 milligrams or more, where GABA helps reduce onset time of sleep and helps improve the quality of sleep and duration of sleep. Now, based on my personal experience, I can attest to GABA being a very positive experience. After this whole Ambien experience, the years of using it, and finding the best course to naturally treat my insomnia, I started taking GABA and I've had a lot of success. But I still felt like because anxiety and stress does more to your body than just prevent you from sleeping. It causes inflammation. It causes an imbalance of hormones, stress, illness, hypertension, all the above. I knew there were still some ways that I had to target these underlying issues to my insomnia. So obviously GABA is going to help me sleep, but like, what about my anxiety? What about my stress? What about those things? All those questions needed to be answered. So I dug deeper because I wanted to know what else could I take to help relieve my anxiety, to help improve my immunity. And then I felt like if I got those causative factors, the anxiety, the stress, the insomnia, the causative factors, if I felt like I got those under control, I really felt like I had the complete puzzle put together of how I'm going to get the best sleep. How am I going to say goodbye to Ambien forever and every single day get the best sleep I've ever gotten? So here's what I found. 7 different supplements that I ended up taking to get the best sleep. This is a secret blueprint. It's a secret blueprint for me to calm anxiety, to improve hormone function, decrease anxiety, reduce inflammation, and promote vitality and immunity. Starts with magnesium. Magnesium regulates over 600 cellular processes in the body, so it's absolutely important. Zinc. Zinc is great for immunity and metabolism. And GABA, we just talked a lot about GABA. Then there's valerian root. And valerian root is an herb that helps calm and deregulate the central nervous system, and it helps decrease inflammation. There's melatonin. A lot of you are probably very familiar with melatonin. Now, melatonin is a naturally occurring hormone. It's made by the pineal gland and helps the body know when it's time to go to sleep and when it's time to wake up. Specifically, it works with our circadian rhythms and the sunrise and sunset. Our body increases melatonin production at night, and it begins with the sunset. Then there's lemon balm. Lemon balm is also an herb. It's a natural sleep aid, and it also helps with digestion and gut health. It promotes calmness and eases stress and inflammation. Then there's L-theanine, and L-theanine is an amino acid. It specifically helps ease stress, and it's an amino acid that can cross the blood-brain barrier to help improve cognitive functions and helps with transmitting nervous function and impulses to the brain. So it certainly helps with neurotransmitters work more effectively. So these are the 7 substances: magnesium, zinc, GABA, valerian root, melatonin, lemon balm, and L-theanine. Those were the 7 that I used to wean myself off of Ambien and take my sleep back. Now I fall asleep very quickly. Usually within 30 minutes of laying down, I am asleep. I don't have racing thoughts. I don't toss and turn, and I dream. And I actually have dreams that are fun and exciting and thought-provoking the very next day. And when my alarm goes off, I'm not dreading waking up. I'm very energized. I'm very refreshed. And I don't have that hangover feeling that things like Ambien and NyQuil and even Xanax make me feel. Now, I used to take all 7 of those supplements separately, and it got a little costly, and it was kind of hard to dose everything out. And when I started Ready to Nutrition, I'm like, okay, like sleep is really important. And I got to use all this knowledge, and I wanted to create the perfect sleep supplement, like the best thing naturally that you can take that is not Ambien, that is non-habit forming, not addictive, and not a sedative, because more people deserve to get the kind of sleep that I'm experiencing and that other people who are taking Zen Rim. Zen Rim is the sleep supplement that I created using all this information, all 7 of those supplements. So here's Zen Rim, and it's going to read exactly like what I had just explained to you. 200 milligrams of magnesium, 30 milligrams of zinc, 450 milligrams of GABA, 420 milligrams of valerian root, 100 milligrams of lemon balm, 100 milligrams of L-theanine, black pepper fruit, and then 5 milligrams of melatonin. And the black pepper fruit is to help with bioavailability and absorption. So when we take a pill, no matter what kind of pill it is, oftentimes that digestion process, the enzymes in our esophagus, in our gut, they start to break things up before they can get to the stomach to be absorbed optimally. So what black pepper fruit does is it simply acts as a buffer or a barrier as the supplement is entering your bloodstream. So that gets absorbed first, that gets broken down first, that gets hit by those enzymes and digestive juices first before the good stuff does. So there it is, Zen Rim. This is an all-in-one sleep and adrenal support. It's going to help regulate your hormones, improve your immunity. It's going to help ease inflammation, calm stress. If you're dealing with any anxiety, tossing and turning. And then with GABA, it's going to help you fall asleep naturally. Zen Rim is the real deal. And after so many years of struggling with my sleep, after so many years of piecemealing things together in research, this is it, athletes. Zen Rim is it. If you are struggling with your sleep, you can take it back, and you can take it back just like I've done with Zen Rim. If you want your own bottle, here's what you got to do. I want to go over to readytonutrition.com, and I want you to put Zen Rim in your cart. And here's a couple options for you so you can save some dough too. If you haven't gotten anything from Ready Nutrition yet, which I don't know what you're waiting for, but if you haven't gotten anything from ReadyNutrition.com yet, and this is going to be your first one, use the coupon code Coach Katie Danger, all one word, and save 30% off of your first order, your first bottle of Zen Rim. If you are a frequent flyer at ReadyNutrition.com, first and foremost, I thank you so much. And then number 2, use the code podcast20, and you can save 20% on every single order your heart desires from here unto eternity. So I want you to go to ReadyNutrition.com, and I want you to put Zen Rim in your cart, and I want you to start getting the awesome sleep you deserve and the awesome sleep that you need so you can crush your goals every single day. Take back your sleep just like I did. You will not regret it. If you're struggling with your sleep, Zen Rim is a no-brainer. You are not beholden to Ambien, Lunesta, NyQuil, Xanax, or any other sleep remedy you might be taking. Choose something that's going to help your body get back to normal. Choose something that's going to bring you back to homeostasis and where you're supposed to naturally exist in this world. Get yourself a bottle of Zen Rim. Athletes, as always, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, if you do have any Ambien stories you feel comfortable sharing, I really want to hear them. So email me, katie@coachkatiedanger.com, and I will share them if you want me to on upcoming episodes, because, I mean, like my story, like my friends' stories, as long as everything turned out okay, they're funny, right? Like in hindsight, it's funny. But Ambien is nothing to joke with long term. So you know what to do, okay? Like just go back and listen to this episode if you don't know what to do. But in the meantime, keep training hard, don't ever give up, and believe in yourself and believe in the process. Next week, we have episode number 52, which marks an entire year, 52 whole weeks of podcast episodes between me and you, and I want you to tune in. I got something special for you for episode number 52, so you got to tune in to hear it and to experience what I have to share. You guys, this is Coach Katie D. I'm signing off on episode number 51. Over and out.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.